there, this is Al. Today in this video we're looking at fighting type Pokemon. We're looking at specifically Mega Lucario EX. This is gonna be the Mega Brave staple, the Mega Brave mascot with its Mega Brave attack. That is kind of the name of the set out in Japan and stuff, but Mega Lucario is gonna be a big Mega Pokemon introduced in the next Mega Evolution Pokemon TCG set. We're gonna look at this deck. We're going to look at the other fighting type cards and support that's coming with it that is going to make it a pretty strong contender for a new deck being introduced in our next set, along with, Mega Gardevoir and the other Mega Pokemon, and it's going to be really fun. Let's look at our Lucario. So, Mega Lucario EX is going to be a Stage 2, and again, these Mega Pokemon are evolving straight from, in this case, straight from Riolu. The Riolu that's coming in the set is going to be an 80 HP Riolu, which means it's not found with Buddy Buddy Poffin, but there are 70 HP Riolu you can always play if you want to go for that Buddy Buddy Poffin build. Now, once we evolve into Mega Lucario, we have Aura Jab for 1 fighting energy, and it's doing 130 damage, and then it's going to attach up to 3 basic fighting energy from the discard to our bench Pokemon in any way we like. So this is going to be a big way to power up our fighting type Pokemon, our other Lucario, and our other Pokemon on the bench, and that means we're going to be wanting to discard these cards early on. Now that is something to consider when deck building, but we're going to go ahead and read the other attack, Mega Brave, as well, for 2 fighting energy. Now, this one does 270, and you can't use it during the next turn. If it's still in the active, it can't use Mega Brave consecutively. But the way you can get around this in the TCG is, of course, just kind of moving that Pokemon to the bench to the active, or we're going to be switching the Pokemon to another attacker if we want to. Now, that is one thing with this deck, is chaining Mega Brave consecutively isn't the most easiest thing thanks to that restriction, but it's also not going to be too damaging, I think. I think that with its first attack, being able to attach energy onto other Riolu into Lucario and stuff is going to be helpful. And we do have other Pokemon in this package as well. Another big one is going to be Hariyama. Hariyama is actually going to have a gusting effect built into its ability, which is interesting. So we have here Sumo Catcher. What a name. I hope it stays that way. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. Now, we did get news that Boss is actually probably sticking around for a while, and so this is still kind of like Boss. You have to evolve your Makihita into Hariyama. Now, that's fine, though. We can also be doing Wild Press, 3 fighting energy, 210 damage. It also does 70 to itself. 210 damage does knock out things like Ogerpon, Fez, our little Pokemon who are like support. So that's something to keep in mind. And if you're using Aura Jab, you can power up your Hariyama. You can attach up to 3 fighting energy to your Hariyama, but are you going to be doing that? We'll have to see. That is just something to be aware of. Now, what else is in this package? We also have kind of some draw support with our fighting Pokemon. So we have a stipulation, though, that we have to have 2 partners in crime, 2 duo. So we have to have Lunatone and Solrock basically in play together. So Lunatone's the one with the draw ability. It has Lunar Cycle. It says that once during your turn, if you have Solrock in play, you can go ahead and discard a basic fighting energy card from your hand to use the ability, and you draw 3 cards. You can only do 1 each turn, though. So, thankfully, you don't need too many Lunatone set up because you can only do it once per turn, but you will need that Lunatone along with Solrock if you want to do your Lunar Cycle. Now, that is something, though. I mean, it is some more fighting support for this deck. It is draw support because we do have our, other than that, our Hariyama potentially for gusting, and we have our Lucario for attacking and stuff. What else, though, for this deck? Well, we do have cards like Mega Signal being able to be used as an item card for our Mega Pokemon in order to find them more easily. We have Premium Power Pro to help out. It's like this Gatorade drink, it looks like. It says during this turn, attacks used by your fighting Pokemon are doing 30 more damage to your opponent's active. Now, that is significant, and this can be used to use consecutively. You can use multiple of them since they are item cards, and you can just use multiple if you want to take a big one-shot on a big guy like Mega Venusaur or something. But aside from that, you can always use it to do more damage output outright. I mean, yeah, that is helpful. We also have a way to find our fighting Pokemon and our fighting energy with Fighting Gong. This Gong lets you search your deck for a basic fighting Pokemon, keep in mind that it is basic, or you can use it to find a basic fighting energy, and then you can reveal it from your hand and shuffle your deck. So that is additional support. We also have other support coming, general support from the set being like Lily's Determination that you might be slotting in. Lily's Determination is nice. It says that if you still have 6 prize cards remaining, instead of drawing 6 after shuffling it into your hand into the deck, you get to draw 8. That's nice. But we're going to be seeing other stuff as well. We also have Acerola's Mischief, which might come up. Choose one of your Pokemon in play. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. So that could come up. A little niche and stuff. But if we go ahead and switch over to, say, Pokekabook for some deck lists and stuff, we can also see what else is being played. One other card from Scarlet Violet base that I've been seeing is Rock Chestplate. Now, this thing is kind of funny. The art's very funny because it's just a straight up rock with some shoulder pads and stuff and attached. It's very silly. But it is meant for fighting Pokemon. It says that the fighting Pokemon this card's attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon, not just from your opponent's EX Pokemon, but just in general in Pokemon. So this is all across the board. It looks like resistance a little bit. We also see the A-Spec maximum belt being used often because with that we can actually get a plus 50 buff to Mega Brave, making the damage output of that 330, and that is hitting some key numbers like, you know, Gardevoir, Dragapult, you know, the usual stuff. Not gonna be our big stage 2 Mega Pokemon, but you know, 330 is still a great thing to hit. And if we can do maximum belt and then even just additional damage output with our Gatorade, then we're going to be sitting pretty well. Now, it looks like we are also running a good amount of energy, like 8, 10 energies. I think 8 is the most common right now I'm seeing, but it depends. I think if you don't have the maximum belt A-Spec, Prime Catcher is still a good one, especially because we have this switching dilemma with this Lucario. So Prime Catcher is good. Prime Catcher also helps just have another Lucario set up and then easily switch him out. And Lucario's big HP, because it is a Mega Pokemon, its big HP lends itself to not be one shot too easily. And so it's going to be good to be able to switch a little easier and pivot around a little easier, which is why we also see a lot of inclusion of like air balloon, even if it's just like one air balloon. I really like that. I really like that flexibility because moving around Lucario is gonna be a consistent thing. And when I was playing the deck, movement was important, whether it be to avoid the attack on a damaged Lucario or to move into another one to attack with. You know, it was key. It was key. As for support Pokemon in the deck, really we see a lot of what comes out in the set. We see our Lunatone draw support, we see our Hariyama, and we might see occasionally some different guys like Excadrill as a partner. That's really interesting. That recent black and white Excadrill EX. That is something. But, you know, aside from that, I think Lucario still stands strong on its own. Let's look at some gameplay. Mega Lucario versus Mega Venusaur. Now, this was just kind of my first intro. And here, we're going to start with the Mega Lucario side with Riolu and Markahita. And then Lunatone. Just needs Solrock. We don't have Solrock, but that's fine. I mean, this is our opening turn. Go ahead and pass. You can see that Riolu in the active, though, is that 70 HP one. I had one of those, and then like 3 other 80 ones. So on the other side here, we start with the Teal Mask Ogerpon, get Bulbasaur's down, and then go in with Bug Catching Set, looking at the top 7, doing a search and finding Grass Energy and a Grass Pokemon. It's going to be helpful. Getting out some more Teal Mask Ogerpon would be good, and then finding that stadium is important, but we're gonna go ahead and draw. We get Bulbasaur. I'll put down another Bulbasaur. We have so many, but if we don't have the stadium, and, you know, hopefully can get that next time. It didn't really matter on first turn, but Yeah, that works. We're gonna go ahead on the other side. Now, here, we can immediately go into our Mega Lucario. Still wild that we can just go straight from Riolu to Mega Lucario, but that's what we're doing. We are Ultra Balling away our Metal Signals, deciding whether, you know, to go with the Solrock or, you know, I guess another Riolu or something was an option, but really I think the Solrock's fine and good just to get that draw engine set up. Again, we need Solrock and Lunatone together, very funny, but don't have the energy for that, and didn't really want to gust up Bulbasaur just yet or anything, so did not go for the Hariyama, but yeah, chillin', do that, attach, we get to draw one card, we get Superior, we can use our Ivysaur on one of them to evolve, but then, yeah, here's Hero's Cape. It's a little early, I know, but just kind of putting that there, wanting to kind of, like, I really want, you know, an Iono or something, but at this point, also wanting to kind of disrupt on the other side, to where Makuhita gets pulled up because of that annoying retreat cost and everything, and just getting that Lucario out of the active so it can't even just Aura Jab, you know, to get damage out and energy spread out. There is some energy now, deciding probably gonna use that to draw with the Lunatone. Let's go ahead and do that. Get 3, alright. Here's Hariyama and an energy there we can attach, but again, that doesn't move the Makuhita, but deciding to put it onto Lucario, I think I do have some movement in the deck, like Air Balloon and stuff, but not in the hand right now, as you can see. But it's fine. I think on the other side, it is slow too. Just deciding whether to gust up, you know, the Ivysaur or Bulbasaur, but I really don't think that would have been the best, just because that would just kind of, again, be easier, I think, for the Mega Venusaur once the stadium is grabbed, or, you know, we can go into Venusaur, like, right now, which we do. It's huge, but we have, yeah, all that. So, kind of thinking, and then we can go ahead and, thought about attaching, or just, you know, trying, we couldn't get the attack off with the Ogerpon, it seemed. But, yeah, just deciding to do that and having one on there for retreat stuff. But then again, on the other side, not having much draw, like no energy to draw with, and we instead just have all this I'm showing. We have our energy drinks and Ultra Ball and stuff, the Hariyama. But again, do I want to, like, move things? The Hariyama also has a bigger retreat cost. Now, I think it's at 3, but just deciding to put the Bulbasaur up there because the Bulbasaur is also more annoying to move as well than an Ogerpon who already has energy on it, so I think that's fine. Go ahead on the other side. Again, we could use Venusaur to, like, move energy, maybe to the Volva to, like, retreat potentially, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe just buying time. I really am fine with the Bulbasaur just being there, I think, for a sec, because, again, it's slow on the other side, too. There's 3 of them. Here, we're gonna attach energy there. Pass. Very slow. This is just kind of, like I said, they're both, like, big mega decks, and just setting up, just biding time, I guess. Kinda. Yeah. Deciding what to do, because, yeah, again, there's no, it felt like there wasn't much firepower to do. I mean, we weren't getting attacks off. It was kind of hard. I think I was talking about something about moving something, the Bulba, binding it was a potential, but, oh man, I don't know about that. So here on the other side though, Earth and Vessel to find out 2 fighting energy cards out of the deck. That's going to allow for some draw support and an attachment onto Hariyama. And like I said, an attachment to Hariyama and an Air Balloon would be ideal, what we need. I think we do end up getting there, but here, attach for turn there, and then the 3 Gatorade, we can go ahead and Lunatone draw. We can do 3. We got the Arven and the Air Balloon anyway, but the Arven was also great. So here we can finally move Makuhita and begin assaulting with our Mega Lucario if we would like. Like I said, however, if we could, like, later in game, I was aware that Hariyama could be doing damage to Ogerpon. I think here I was also considering, again, with the amount of Gatorade in our hand, Lucario being able to, like, get Pokemon as well, like the Venusaur. But because the Venusaur has a Hero's Cape, it would be difficult. That is crazy. But we do have the maximum belt here. The maximum belt being lined up and stuff with the Arven, and then trying to find... We're gonna have to, yeah, probably get an S-Ball, because we need Riolu. We need another Lucario at some point, I would prefer. So we're gonna go ahead and use an S-Ball to find Riolu, get that on the bench, and that is coming together. Now, no boss could be played since we did Arven, so we can't really take a huge KO, but we can at least move Hariyama and start getting damage around. We can KO the Bulbasaur, we can also choose to energize up, because we can knock out the Bulbasaur here with the first attack, doing 130 damage, which KOs it, and then being able to attach up to 3 from the discard pile onto our Pokemon. So that is pretty good. I mean, that's how the deck is going to be functioning, is, you know, taking those knockouts and then powering up our other ones. So here we go with Mega Venusaur in the active. Mega Venusaur is big at 480 HP right now, but other than that, what else? We can get another Venusaur, but, you know, we can also, I think I was looking for Fez or something as well, because it was, I think, prized. Yeah, instead we can still get Venusaur. We can still get that going up. Also good to have him, and really we need energy, but the hand size is, like, non-existent. Not good. See, we got Night Stretcher. We can Night Stretcher for, like, an energy if we had one, but we don't. Deciding to hold it. Pass. Jungle Dump is not going to be doing enough, and yeah, it just was awkward on that side, I think. Now, over here, like I said, we have Shakes, we have Maximum Belt. We have our Gong to find stuff, and Arven here. Arven is nice. We can help find our Mega, our low guy. But again, we can't... Well, we can use Mega Brave. We can use Mega Brave, because we did Aura Chav. But, yeah, that is something. Let's see. We're gonna go ahead and search. I think our Mega Signals were not around, so I think we might have to grab an Ultra Ball if we want to get, get Ultra Ball, or something potentially, because the Gong can only do the basic Pokemon and not find Mega Lucario, unfortunately, but that's okay. I know it's taking a sec, just trying to plan things out, because, yeah, we want to do that, and then our Air Balloon is already out of the deck, and our Maximum Belt, so no tool grabbed. Here we can, again, the chest plate is also probably a good idea. That's another tool. But yeah, just counting up damage. We can do 330, and then with the additional ones, here's the Gong to find more energy, or, yeah, we're just gonna go energy here. I want to be able to maybe get Hariyama able as well, or also to draw. That's important. We got some more Gongs, though, and a Sorola, but yeah, that's something. The Hariyama, I don't know how much that's going to come up as an attacker, but I like the possibility of it being a surprise. Anyway, here's Ultra Ball to get the other Lucario. That's going to be good for chaining attacks and everything. We can do that, and I think with those additional 90, we're doing 420. Very good on our grass guy. Yeah, I believe. And so, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, the Mega Venusaur with the Hero's Cape is something. And if I had Wally on the other side, it would have been great. But, yeah, it was kind of rough. Now, our footage actually ends here because my camera stopped recording. But we'll have another thing. We did end up winning with the Lucario, but I'm so sorry. To sum up my own thoughts and my own experience so far with testing it out a little bit, is that I think it's pretty solid. I like the amount of support it has been given. I think that really helps it. I think that getting out everybody, your Pokemon, your Riolu, and then your Lunatone and Solrock if you're using that, and then Makuhita is important. I think mobility is important. Starting with Makuhita or something did not always feel great. It has a huge retreat cost, but, like, even more so when it's Hariyama. And, you know, the gusting effect that Hariyama gives with its ability is pretty unique because it is on an ability rather than through a support card usage with, like, Boss. But that was really interesting. I haven't had the chance to play with too much of Acerola, but that should change as we go into more games and more testing and stuff as the set gets closer too. But it was really fun to play around with. But I think that is the one thing, is that, at least for me, the mobility of it and the chaining of attacks you know, being conscious of that and being aware of that. But as for like actually getting the attack off, I think that 270 for 2 fighting energy is really good. I think that its Orajab attack doing 130, but then also like just powering up your other fighting types on the bench is really good. I think that that's really helpful. And I think planning around that with like, you know, moving them around and making sure to have that in mind is good too. I liked it. But I definitely think it is going to be a strong contender. I think that it's really exciting and it's going to be a fun Mega Pokemon to experience and try and play against too as it comes. So yeah, that was great. It was good. It was good. I would love to hear your thoughts though as well. I would love to hear if you're planning to build this or how you might. If there's anything I missed as well, let me know. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!